Hey, what's poppin', y'all? Knowledge coming at you again with another video. I read an article today on a pastor who basically made a whole sermon about black women wearing weaves, and I'm going to read part of the article to you. If you guys want to check out the whole article, you can yourself. I'll leave the link in the description box. It says here, Pastor A.J. Amir recently told his leadership staff at Resurrection Faith, do not wear weaves. Pastor Amir feels women wearing weaves presents a false image of themselves and are associated with women who have low self-esteem. In quotes, all black women are getting weaves trying to be something and someone they are not. Be real with yourself, is all I'm saying, said Pastor Amir. Pastor Amir admits he was raised in a strict household. His mother and father are members of Islam faith. At 39 years old, he leads a congregation whose average age is 22. And quotes again, long hair don't care. What kind of mess is that? I don't want members so focused on what's on their head and not in their head, he told AmericanPreachers.com. I lead a church where our members are struggling financially. I mean really struggling. Yet a 26-year-old mother in my church has a $300 weave on her head. No, I will not be quiet about this. Now, when I read the article, I had mixed feelings about it. And I saw a fellow friend of mine on Facebook, he wrote about it too. Another guy that does YouTube videos. And, I see where he's coming from, because we do have black women who spend hundreds of dollars on, their hair, and their kids are not taken care of, or they're behind on their bills, or they're just playing into the stereotype as if you're not happy with who you are. But again, that's not always the case. I have lots of women in my family, and I know a lot about women. Now, a lot of times it's not, black women don't always get weaves because they hate themselves, or they don't like their look, or they're trying to take on Caucasian features. Sometimes they'll do it for what's the word I'm looking for? Experimenting with their hair. They might want a different look for the day or the week, so they'll add different pieces. Sometimes a woman might have long hair, but to get braids, she'll have to add something to it, or to get a certain hairstyle, she might have to add a certain piece to her hair. So it's not always because they want to be white, or they want to represent and be something that they're not. Sometimes it's just for the type of hairstyle they're getting, they need to add pieces onto their hair. And like I've said before in previous videos, black women are not the first women who started wearing weaves. Weaves were worn a long time by white women before black women even got a hold of weaves, and that's because for a long period of time, adding extensions to your hair and certain weave pieces were very expensive, and a lot of black women couldn't afford it. But when they made it to where they could afford it, that's when you start seeing black women kind of take on the whole charge with wearing different pieces and different hair colors and just adding things to their hair. And now weaves has basically been adopted by the black culture, even though there are white women out there who wear weaves too. But I understand what he was saying from, that point of view, and about saving money and not spending ridiculous money on your hair. I understand where he's coming from with that. But at the same time, this is why we have a generation who does not respect the church. This is why we have a generation who do not want to go serve the Lord in certain congregations because of the ridicule and the superficial standards and the judgment that a lot of our churches put on society nowadays, especially the black church. And for those that are black out there, that a lot of your black churches, they're all about what type of dress you got on. Look at the suit he got on. We all gotta come dressed and sharp, and looking to tease. Churches has almost became a fashion show. And you have a lot of people who go to church every Sunday, and a big part of why they go to church is to show off their new outfit. So when we look at it from that point of view, I think it hurts the community with a lot of black people not wanting to go serve the Lord in the house of the congregation. Second, my question to AJ Amir is, what are you doing for the black community? A lot of these black pastors out here, they hoop and holler every Sunday. They ridicule the black community and tell us what we need to be doing. They talk about how much you need to be paying your tithes, how you're being disloyal to God if you're not paying your tithes. They tell us to stand down or pray about everything every time we have something that directly affects the black community. Yet you want to go ham on black women wearing weaves. And I think as a pastor, the first thing you need to be is you need to be a leader. And you need to lead in other directions too. And that's why I have lost a lot of respect. Not for all. This is not all black churches. But this is a high majority of them. I've lost some respect for the black church nowadays because I feel like black churches are not the backbone of the community anymore. I feel like what they've done is they've become poverty pimps. And they ridicule people, and it's all about paying your tithes and coming to church and kissing ass and putting on this big fashion store, instead of the church coming together and not only taking care of the congregation but going out within the community and taking care of our community as a whole. And you got cats out here that want to focus on a black woman's hair instead of the progression of our people. We are in a time right now where it's time to start moving forward. It's time to start thinking about economical growth. And you got people out here that's worrying about a black woman's hair. And to sit up here and do a whole sermon on black women's hair, I think that's, it's a little ridiculous. But, that's basically what I wanted to say about it. I think our focus and attention can be on a lot other things than what is on a woman's head. And I understand where this brother was coming from, but at the same time, what are you doing? Don't talk about, the black woman putting on, weaves and stuff, but yeah, you don't do anything for the community. Or you're strictly focused on your church and nothing else. But that's pretty much all I want to say. You guys give me your feedback on what you feel about the judgment and the certain stereotypes that come along with black churches nowadays. And do you feel like black churches really can create change in black society nowadays? And I think they can. I just think the efforts to doing that is not put into action, and our focus is on a lot of other things that are irrelevant instead of what's important to our people and our community. But you guys give me your feedback. Check out the article if you want. I'm out, y'all. Peace.